Mike, it's just me and you on this episode, but we have a special guest in here that we've been talking about for months, for many episodes, that we wanted to cover this topic. Sharon's not with us today. She'll be missed, but I have a feeling you're going to get a few more words in.
Hopefully.
So, without further ado, we have two girls in here from Adorn, Louisville.
Hi.
And with us is Bethany and Hailey.
Hello.
Thank you all so much for coming in. I think this is going to be a fun episode. Mike, they're going to need to buckle up.
Buckle up, because it's going to be a bumpy one.
Well,
ready.
First and foremost, dress is usually at the top of brides' list. Probably many of them out there have Pinterest boards in regards to dresses. I have so many questions. Styles, what's in, what's not, where do you start? But Mike, we always like to start with this one burning question.
Yeah, so what's the most or the number one tip that you could give to a bride that's just starting to look for a dress?
Yeah. So first and foremost, relax. Let it be fun. It can feel a little bit stressful, especially starting out, because it's a world you've never entered and you're gonna come one time. So for us, we're there every day. We're in bridal world every day. So take the pressure off a little bit. When you're just starting to look at styles, when you're just starting to decide where you might want to go, look at it like you would anything else that you're shopping for. When you're looking at websites, when you're looking at Instagram, what speaks to you, what places resonate with you and just make you think, I have to go there. Those are the places we recommend that you go to. It doesn't always have to be us. We don't have to be the first one on your list. We hope it is, but we think that you should look at it in that way so that you don't end up at a store that, just feels discouraging because it's not matching your style. Not everyone has the same style, and bridal has completely changed over the last several years, and really anything goes. So if you're a funkier bride, if you're a traditional bride, whatever it may be, anywhere in between, look at it that way so that when you're entering those shops, you can really just sit back and enjoy it. You should just put on the pretty
one
things.
thing that with me being a florist, the first thing I ask them is, what style is your gown? What color is your gown?
Yeah.
In the past 2 years, I can honestly say these gowns and styles are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from black to short to long to full. I mean, it's not. What is the trend right now? I mean, really.
Is there a trend? Is
I'm
that
gonna
the
let
question?
Hailey answer this one. She has a good answer for it.
All right, Hailey, come on, give us the answer.
Honestly, a little bit of everything's in. I've seen super high neck Victorian. I've also seen super boho with fringe, or super clean and classic and sexy. It's everything, and it's honestly great that everybody's just welcomed with open arms and any style. And I just love to see all the creativity that everyone has, and it's different.
I'm going to be honest with you. We are just a couple minutes in. I never have heard it said, like Bethany said it, what you're drawn to. I think for me, you just went to the stores that your friends went to or that you heard so-and-so got a dress from. I've never heard it put like that, but that makes sense when we talk about photography, videography, wedding planners. Like, what's your fit? What are you drawn to? So that tip really stands out to me.
Well, so what do you think, or what should you tell a bride? How do they even start to look? How would they pick Adorn over another competitor in Louisville? I wouldn't even know where to start.
The process.
The process.
What, Mike, you talk a lot about Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, show me your Pinterest board. What process do you recommend before even people come into a store or find a store?
I love that question. Look. Look at pictures. Like, that's so huge. And Pinterest probably is the biggest one. Instagram, being the other. But look at things and, everybody's bodies are different. So sure, your body might not look exactly like that in a photo, but look at the things that, if you have a Pinterest board, even if you feel like it's all over the place, we might take a look at that and be like, oh no. Like,
You know where they're headed
Right,
or what
right.
they're thinking.
you know, or
Wow.
at least somewhat. And then if it changes once we put you in dresses, that's okay. You know, we think on the fly. It changes all the time. It's all good. That happens. I feel like it's one way or the other. You either end up really, really different than you thought, or you kind of stay right on track. And if you're anywhere else in between, that's fine too. You know, I think one thing that brides worry about is, you know, we see a lot of television that makes it look like dress shopping looks a certain way. And to be totally honest, it doesn't. It looks really, really, really different for every bride and every party that comes in. And all of it is good. You can bawl your eyes out when you find the one. You can look at us and say, okay, let's do it, which I've had a bride do. And all of it's fine. You don't have to have a certain experience to have your experience.
So when a bride comes in and talks to me, that's the first thing they show me is their Pinterest page.
Mhm.
You know, with me, and I think it's a little different with you all. I mean, they're going to show me pictures of flowers, and I know, okay, yes, I can do this. They'll show me 2 or 3 different pictures, and I'll just take all 3 of those and combine them together to make one. If they bring you a picture of a gown and say, I want this gown, how do you do that?
So we have 6 different designers in our location now. Our Nashville location, which is our original location, has even more. So that'll continue to grow and change. But basically, we'll look at that dress and it's either going to be something we have or it's going to be something that I instantly think, oh, it's this dress. That's what I need to put you in first. And honestly, you know, if we get through the whole appointment and we realize we don't have the dress for you, it does happen. It happens at every store. There are times where we want to just really graciously say, I don't think I have it. I don't think I'm the best option for you, but here are the places I recommend that you go. Because at the end of the day, our most important thing is that you as a bride have an amazing experience and you find the dress that you love. The dress finds you. If it's with us, that's incredible. We want to be there from the moment you entered the shop to the minute you walk down the aisle.
So how often does it happen that they just come in and they try on the first dress and they fall in love with it?
85% of brides
Really?
fall in love with one of
Really?
the first 3 dresses.
Wow.
I didn't think it was that high.
So that's
Yeah.
the next thing I was going to say to you. Do you recommend people try on dresses until they just, I think people are hesitant about trying on too many dresses, but it just sounds like you're talking about, it's an experience. It's not a fitting. It's an experience to try those on. Really try them on until you find what you love, what you know is it.
Yes. And I think it's a yes and no on that. So try it on until something just jumps out at you. But there's a point where, at least for us, you know, if you come in and tell me you've been in 50 plus dresses and you're not narrowed down, we're going to go a little more therapist route on you, you know? Like, we're going to start asking more specific questions because you probably are more narrowed down than you think. And once you've been in that many dresses, that's when it's not fun for the bride because now they're overwhelmed thinking, I'm never going to find a dress. And we hear that, you know, we've heard that in our Nashville location, we've heard it in Louisville. And that's where we don't want you to get. And if you're there, it's okay. But if you come to us and you've reached that point, we're going to sit down. Like, we're going to straight up sit down with you before we get in any dresses and be like, talk to me.
Because that is the experience. You're trying to help guide them.
Exactly.
And that is what stands out right here is it is a little bit about what we talk about community over competition. It's about them having a great experience more so than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, for us, it's really about the experience as a whole, whether you find a dress with us or not.
So when it comes to a bride coming into your store, can they just walk in off the street? Do they need to make an appointment? How does that work for you all?
You want to get this?
Oh, wait, bitch. All right. Haley's going to give us an answer this time. Come on, Haley.
So we are appointment only, just because a couple of things, we do it a little bit differently. We will actually contact you and ask you questions about your style before you even come in. So we have dresses ready for you. So it's not an overwhelming experience of, hey, look at all this. and then figure it out kind of thing. We're here to guide you and help you. So we are appointment only.
Well, I think that's great because that's what I wanted to hear because I think that's what sets you apart
Yes.
than any other bridal shop.
I was just getting ready to say, are all bridal shops appointment only?
No.
No.
No. Okay. I didn't know.
And just by looking at your website.
Mike answered that like I should have known that.
Like,
I'm sorry.
And
No.
just by looking at your website, I can tell you give that personal touch
Yes.
and makes the bride comfortable. And you were talking earlier about having a sitting down with them and doing a conversation with them to get them back to normal with not getting overwhelmed with what dress to use.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is more of a shop that makes them more comfortable, where they're not rushed into and, here's this dress. How are you going to find out what dress you like or don't like? The questions that you asked before, I think that's perfect.
And I think that ties into what she's saying about the experience. It sounds like to me it's more than just 30 minutes or an hour. When you talk about an experience, I'm assuming that is for people to come with you, to be able to give their feedback, but also take part in that experience with you.
Exactly. And we tell your party that, we'll never say, oh, don't touch the dresses, don't look through the dresses. It's the opposite. We're like, come in, act like it's your home. Guys, I did it again. But, we'll tell your party like, hey, you get the fun job. Sit on our comfy couches and chairs and have a good time. Have champagne, have water, whatever you want, and give your opinion to your girl. Like, you're here to support her. She's chosen you to be here with her. And we're basically there to let everybody have a really, really good time. And we'll do the hard work.
So I feel like when it comes to, okay, I've got engaged, that's usually the first thing that bride thinks about. Even though it should be, hate to say, it should be where the venue's going to be and picking a date. But I swear, they're out there for that dress. So how far in advance
Good question.
should a bride come to see you?
Yeah. So ideal time for what we do, because we're special order, is 9 to 12 months before your wedding. And we say that because most of our dresses are a minimum of 4 to 6 months to actually order to your specifications and come in. We specialize in customizations. So we do that through our designers. We do it through the local seamstresses that we trust and we work with, that we vetted, before we were even open. And all of that takes time. So the biggest favor you can do yourself is give yourself the time so that we don't need to limit you, because we are yes women. I want to tell you yes to everything you want. But if we don't have as much time, we can't always do that. We will do everything we can, but we can't always do it when we have less time.
With logistics and shipping, there's been delays due to many reasons. Having a little bit of extra time makes for less stress when you're talking about a wedding.
And I love that you said that, because that's what we're all about. I've said it, we want you to relax, we want you to have fun. And part of that is when you do find the dress and you've said yes and you've done all of that, everything after that point is on us. And when you are in that crunch time, when you're under 6 months, even though we give you that reassurance, for me, I'm a stressor, I would walk away and be like, but is it gonna come? And it's on us. We will make sure it happens. But I don't want you to spend 6 months before your wedding stressed out if your dress is actually gonna get there. So if you give us the 9 to 12 months, then when you walk away, you can, go down the street to Emmy Squared and have a cocktail and start that 9 months of just enjoying yourself.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Before we started this podcast over a year ago, I thought, honestly, being a guy, you could go into any bridal shop and, I'm going to try this on. Okay, I'm going to walk out, try it on. I love it. I'm going to buy it and walk out the door with it. It's not that way.
It does exist. It's just not that way for us.
Right. But, and that's a different level of dress that you've got.
Exactly.
And I think, it's taken by detail.
Right.
And I think I want to come down to your shop. I didn't go to your open house, but I'm going to.
Well, what you just said, though, goes back to what you said at the beginning of the episode. Finding your styles and finding places that you are drawn to. Also, what you just mentioned, if you're outside the special order window, that right there helps narrow down what shops are going to work for you. You have to be realistic. And If not, you are going to be stressed. And I think if people took the time to make those phone calls and ask those questions, like Hailey mentioned, having a conversation before they even come in, we're back to a complete experience. So if you're listening to this and you are in a certain window of time, reach out to shops, because we have people listen to us all over. If you're not in the Louisville, Kentucky or surrounding areas, reach out and see if they are a special order or custom dress shop, or if you can go in, like Mike said, and be able to buy off the rack. There are times people have to move their dates or they don't have as long to plan, and you will save yourself and also the dress shop's time by being upfront, honest, and asking those questions.
Absolutely. And when in doubt, call us. You know, I won't speak for every store on most things, but on this I will. Like, if you have a question, we want to answer it. We want to be helpful to you. You know, like, that's what we come to work every day to do, is to make your bridal experience great. So if you have a question or you're unsure, call the store. Like, for us, we even have texting. If you go to our website, you can text us, and it really is us on the other end answering the question. So whatever is conducive to your life, you know, ask your shops, because we want to help you.
So let me ask you this: and I hate to pull this out, but say a plus size girl comes in and says, you know, are there certain size samples that you carry that maybe if I'm a 20 or 22, am I going to be able to come in and try on a dress in your store?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our average samples in store to try on, because everything that we have is what we refer to as a sample. So it's the ones you try on, and then we're going to measure you and order it to your specifications in your size. Ours average from a bridal 10 to 14. Bridal sizing is not the same as regular sizing. So
I'm so glad she just mentioned this. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah. It's not at all. And I don't know who decided that once upon a time, because it doesn't make any of us feel good. But it doesn't line up with anything. As we know, women's sizing doesn't make any sense anywhere. But yeah, so bridal 10 to 14. Bridal is typically about 2 to 3 sizes higher than your regular size. So let's say you average a size 6 in like most of what you wear, your pants, your dresses, things like that. You're probably going to be around a bridal 10. Now, of course, we measure you and make sure of those things. But I say that so that you know, when I say we're between a bridal 10 to 14, that's a little bit smaller than what it sounds. It doesn't mean that if you're, you know, a size higher than that we can't or won't help you. We encourage you to come to us. But often what we'll do is we're going to talk to you on the phone, just like Hailey mentioned, when we're, you know, getting an idea of everything about you as far as your bridal journey. I may recommend before, you know, if you're coming to us and it's your very first time, we may recommend that you go to a shop that has all bridal sizing. It may not even be dresses that are your exact style, but before you get into ones that are one size, and this happens no matter what size you are, you know, if you're like a size 0 to a size 30, you know, they all look different on everyone's bodies. So we may recommend that you go to a shop like David's Bridal that has sizing for everyone, mainly so that you can see the way a dress should fit your body when it's the right size for you, so that when you're getting into dresses that are one size, it helps with that visualization, because we do all kinds of tricks behind the scenes to make that dress, you know, be on your body and look as much like it will the day of. But one size dress is just never gonna look the same on every size body, right? So that's usually our recommendation. And we'll tell you that. We'll call you and say like, hey, I'm confirming your appointment, here's my recommendation, so that you can come and have the absolute best experience with us.
You know, and there's a lot to what she just said. There's a lot, because I'll say about when Josh and I got married, when she was talking about styles, until you can look at all these pictures and like these different styles and think this is going to look better on you than this, or there's no way I would do sleeveless. And that is exactly what I said. I will not. I'm not going to do sleeveless. What did I end up with?
I was going to say, you got a sleeveless dress.
I did. But I never would have thought. I honestly, if a person that was with me, I would give credit where credit's due, but I really don't remember who it was, said, I really think you should try this on. And I was like, well, what color is that? It don't have straps. But until I put it on, I really, honestly, got to walk out of the store with that dress.
Mhm.
It's just the way the chips fell. It's not at all what I had planned. It normally does not happen like that because I've heard many other experiences. But had I not tried that on, there's no way I would have picked that off a rack for myself, or somebody, if you would have held that up, I'd been like, no. But it goes into what you're saying. You can like things in pictures, but until you put that on your own body,
right,
in a size that's close to what you wear, to see how you feel in it, I think a lot of times people don't realize how important that is to try on different styles, because you may surprise yourself. I did.
And it does happen a lot. And that's where, at the very beginning we said a huge tip is to come in with an open mind, no matter where you're going. Because our goal is not to get you in the exact opposite of what you wanted. Our goal is for you to feel like the absolute most beautiful version of you, the bride that you are. And that's different for everybody. So, if I had styled you and I looked at you and was like, I gotta put you in a strapless, I would just say that to you. I just have a feeling you need to see this.
And that's why you're the
and
professional.
If you put it on and you hate it, it's fine, we'll take it off.
But you do this all the time. And it goes back to the wedding professionals. If you trust in them, even with trying on dresses, you see all of this. Where others that are coming in to do business with you, this their first time. They maybe not have had an experience like this. And gosh, the wedding professionals, they are really good at what they do. But they also do it 24/7 and can give you that expertise.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the way I think too. I mean, I feel like I've got a product. You all have a product. If they're going to like me and they're going to like you, we've sold the product no matter what we come up with them.
Right.
But if you sit down and give them a personal one-on-one saying, I think you look better in this or this, I think they, respect that. And I feel like as salespeople, because both of us are, when they get up and leave the table or leave, you want them to come back and help them with another project later down, for their sister or their whatever.
Exactly. And we know, especially in this area, so much is word of mouth. You do hear, my sister-in-law went to Adorn and she had the best, time ever. And that's where we, in the beginning we said, you don't necessarily have to just go to the places that you're like, well, everybody I know went there. Because if it really doesn't speak to you, I at least wouldn't make it the first job. But maybe it's not on your list. But there is something to be said for, the people that you love and trust. If they're like, no, trust me, you've got to, that might mean something.
Okay, so I know we've talked about dresses, and this has been, we could talk so long about this. But also there's other components to this. Veils, shoes. Is that something that you work with people in regards to?
In terms of accessories as a whole.
Thank you. There's the professional term.
Accessories as a whole.
Accessories as a whole.
Yes.
Hailey.
Oh my gosh, accessories love, especially veils. We have a little bit of everything, anything. So if you need certain gloves made, you can get certain gloves. Whatever your little heart desires, just tell me, and let's see if we can make it.
So jewelry also?
Jewelry, yes. Earrings, necklaces, hair brooches, anything.
It's important because that all goes together with a look.
Oh, yes.
Right? I'll go back to giving myself as an example. This person wanted me to put on, I don't know the technical term, but Mike, they're going to know it. A thing around your waist.
Like
A belt or a sash.
There you go, a sash. And I was like, no, until
you saw
I put it on. And I ended up with it. And I was like,
It just
It
changed
made a
it.
huge-
It just changed it. It just took it up a notch, just a little
yes.
bit. Mm-hmm.
It was shocking. So do you recommend when brides are finalizing their dress, you recommend they do their veil, shoes, because it's all one staple piece, right? It's all one look.
I wouldn't worry too much about shoes until alterations and stuff like that, but veils or for doing headpieces or for doing earrings, yes, you want to try it all on so you can see the whole vision.
There you go, Mike. See, there's the
Vision.
word I was looking for.
The
Vision.
whole vision.
Yes.
And if those certain components go together or not, if this is your style, if this is you, let's find out. Let's try these things out.
Okay, she has a hidden tip in there. Did you catch that about the shoes? I didn't even realize that until
Don't worry about
Fitting.
the alterations.
alterations. Wow. We can learn all kinds of stuff.
Now, if you already have beautiful shoes that you already picked out, gorgeous. I'd love to see them. I love shoes.
But they should bring that,
Yes.
bring that
They
with
should
them,
bring
right?
with them.
You can, but I won't tell you to put them on because the dresses are super long and it's a lot easier for you to walk around barefoot.
Interesting.
Get you in and out of
The
dresses.
vision, that's the word that I was
Vision.
going for. And all the accessories, that's a big part of it.
I mean, it's almost like a one-stop shop when it comes, that's what people say to me, because
Yes.
we do suits. We do flowers and we do suits. We don't do dresses or anything like that. But you're covering multiple things that they can take care of before they walk out of your shop.
Yes.
That all goes into one vision. That's
Yes.
what I was thinking about when you're taking your dress. And I know a lot of times people are like, veil or no veil. You see a lot of that on social media. Headpiece, veil, nothing. And so I was just curious if people a lot of times try to do all of that, which it sounds like they should, since that's part of the vision.
Yes.
So let's talk about color. I mean, we do a lot of weddings, and I want to say 99% of the time our dresses are ivory and not white. Is white kind of disappearing?
She's
and you
out.
don't see it?
She's out.
That's what I thought.
She's out. So in modern photography, she turns either a little silver or a little blue, and she's not really white anymore. So ivory kind of saved the day, and you still get
So
that white.
I hear a lot of
Wow.
colors such as diamond white.
Mhm.
I don't hear the word ivory either. I hear like
I feel like I hear champagne.
champagne, dusty gold. I mean, I hear all kinds of colors.
He's in his element. Can you tell?
Yeah, I know. I love it. I was like, Dusty Gold. I love that. Ooh. Romance me with that.
Okay, and we're on the topic of dresses.
No, but thinking of like paint colors, you know, like you look at them and they're really similar, but some of them you're like, what in the world? Who named that? It's kind of like that. Most of our dresses, they're called ivory. Some of them are called off-white. And then some designers, you know, have less traditional options. They have sand, they have nude, they have champagne, like you mentioned. And one of our designers offers red or black. So, and we actually, I tell you, like, at least here in Louisville, that is the color we get asked about more than anything else is black wedding dresses. So for those of you who are wondering, we do have one designer that we carry that will make, we carry them in store in her ivory shades, but she does make them in a beautiful black. So.
Well, last year in 21, I mean, I had a bride wear pink.
Mhm.
I had a bride wear black and also red.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're right on target with that. I mean, you don't see that too often. One of my favorites, though, was the pink.
Yeah.
I mean, that baby pink. I mean, it was just a really pale
I've
pink.
seen a picture of that.
And
Yes.
it was beautiful.
Yeah,
So-
there's a new designer in our Nashville store, Chantel Lauren. They actually have a trunk show this coming weekend, but she has a specific dress that is hand painted, and they will make it in any color you want.
I'll be done.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it's stunning. I saw it in person in New York, and I was like,
Can we get a picture of that to post out on
Sure,
social media?
sure.
That way we'll have it in the show notes.
So you just said trunk show. I know a little bit about trunk shows, like I told you. My best friend owns a bridal shop too. So tell them about a trunk show. Do you all have trunk shows?
we have so many.
So tell them
That's
about
making
that.
it out this week.
So what is a trunk show for wedding dresses?
Yeah. So for us, I'm sure it's a little bit different depending on the shop, but for us, it means that we have one of the designers that we either carry or maybe something that we're considering picking up or, you know, having long-term in the store, because some designers will offer that option as well. But right now, what we've had so far is designers that we carry, they'll send what they call a trunk show, typically for a weekend. Some will do a week or up to 2, if it's accessories, things like that. But they're basically going to send us all the things. So in most bridal shops, we carry a designer, but we have a certain number of dresses that we've chosen. So it's dresses that, we think for our brides, those are going to be the ones that, speak the most to you and that you're going to love. But a trunk show, we're going to get all of them. So this past weekend, we had Pronovius, which is one of our top designers that we carry. And they actually sent us both of their 2022 collections. So I have 12 to 18 of those at any given time in the shop. And we had an additional over 20 dresses this past weekend. So it just opens up the world to, our brides who, we even called some who already had a favorite from that designer. And we had one bride come in and basically we put her in her favorite and then we put her in the one dress that we were like, if anything will be her, it's her sister, this new gal right here. And that's her dress. So, I know we call them gals. They
all have names.
But,
like she white is out.
Right, exactly. She male. And then this coming weekend we have Rita Veneris as a trunk show. So we already carry her line Aileen. But she has another line that's more of her couture line called Ravini that we don't yet carry in Louisville. We do have it in our Nashville location, but we're getting that trunk show too. So that it's basically something that will only be here this weekend and our brides can basically, essentially we're seeing like, how much do you love it? Like, is it something,
Yeah, because if they love it, you'll probably carry it.
Right.
So how do they find out about upcoming trunk shows? Do you post it on social media or your website?
Both. Yes, so We'll talk about it on our social media. We run our social medias separately through Nashville and Louisville so that they can be more specified to each location. And then our website will do the same. So you can see all of our events just on our main Adorn Louisville page.
Wow, I had no idea that's what a trunk show was.
Yeah, well,
and it's fun because sometimes it's like veils and things too, if they make it. It's not just dresses.
The accessories.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you asked about that because I'm sure people see that and have no idea
I've
what
never
kind of
seen it
event
in
that
a
is.
bridal gown. I mean, I know our good friends, they do it for prom dresses.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it as a weekend and they are slammed.
Yeah.
I mean, slammed with that trunk show.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience that we haven't talked about yet that you think is an important tip or information in regards to wedding dresses, accessories, anything like that? I'm putting you on the spot.
I know. I'm like, we did cover a lot. I think the only thing we didn't mention that, if you come into the store, you'll probably hear us say this is fall in love with the base. And this is for us specifically. Mm-hmm. So like I said, we specialize in customizations through our designers, through our seamstresses. And basically, if you can dream it up, we will figure out a way to make it happen. That's kind of what we tell you. That's why I say we're yes women. So fall in love with your base, and then anything you tell us you want, if we can figure out a way to make it happen, we will make it happen.
Okay, so that leads me to a question. So you bring me 3 dresses out.
Mm-hmm.
I love the sleeves on this one. I love the bodice on this one. I love the bottom on this.
Now listen to him throwing out those fancy terms.
So, I mean, you said if you listen, you'll do what I want. So are you going to take those 3 gowns and make them one? Not saying that happens.
Yes and no. It may not technically do that. Does happen. I may not technically do it, but especially like if you have a dress that's the same designer and you're like, I love the top of that, but I like the fit of this dress and I like the top of this one, and they're the same designer, I will literally pick up my phone and text or call them
to see if it's something
and
they
be
can
like,
do.
will you just make this top and this bottom? And
I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I just
I did it. This past weekend.
I love her answers. I'm going to start using yes and no. She has done that a few times, and I'm like, oh, yeah, no.
And like,
Yeah, no part.
right. I'm like, technically, maybe no, but essentially, yes.
Right. You can try.
Right. And for instance, let's say that it's a scenario like you said, where it's like, I love the top of this, I love the bottom of this, and but overall, I like this sleeve. That is going to look different depending on the bride and what dresses and what designers we're speaking to. But each of our designers that we carry, I can send them an email, call, whatever, and say, hey, tell me every piece of this dress, how it comes, pricing, all of that. We have a bride right now who fell in love with a dress from one designer, but she wanted one particular layer of glitter from a different designer. So we are ordering that separately, and we will add it into her dress in alterations. So that's why I say yes and no. Like, it may not be as simple as what it sounds, but if we can do it. Exactly.
Yes. Well, and the thing about what I hear her saying is what she has said. Share with me your vision. Share with us what you're really wanting and talk to us and just tell us, and then we can see what we come up with.
I've got one more question. So,
are you going to use fancy terms in this question?
well, maybe.
Okay.
But I've been in this business since the early or late 80s. I have seen so many dress trends.
Yeah.
What do you
want to go through some of those?
sleeves,
Big sleeves,
long sleeves.
They're back, in case you didn't know.
That's what my question was going to
Oh
be.
my goodness.
What do you see the trend in dresses coming up in the next few years?
Honestly, it's exactly what Hailey said earlier. It's like no holds bars, like anything goes. I will say one trend that has definitely come back is just like super classic clean. I think we went like very, not over the top, but like very glitz, very glam there for a while. And now we've kind of pulled back. And we saw that happening, just in the last 1 to 2 years. And I think it's honestly just where people are in life as a whole. Like, we've all kind of taken that moment of like, what's really, really important to me? Like, do I want a 300-person wedding or do I want a 30-person wedding? And we're seeing a lot more of that. And I think it's happening with dresses too, is brides are figuring out like whatever makes me feel the most beautiful and whatever I feel like I shine the most in is what I'm going to wear on my wedding day. And that's what we encourage. If you think you're going to end up in an all-over sparkle dress and you put it on and we can tell that you're just like not that into it, we will just call it out and be like, hey, we think maybe we should try something different. And it's not because it doesn't look good. It probably looks fantastic. But
you can just read.
Right.
It's not
if I can tell it's not you,
language.
if she can tell it's not you, we're going to switch it up. We're going to throw you a wild card and might be the opposite of what you thought.
Like I said, I've said this a few times, our friend owns a bridal shop, and we went to Chicago with them last fall they bought their whole line of gowns and stuff. But this one dress stood out out of all of them. It looked like a pantsuit.
Yes.
And it had this big,
Yes.
this wrap that went around her waist, and it flared out, 8 feet. That stuck in my mind more than anything. And it really wasn't glamorous. It wasn't.
You liked it?
It was glamorous.
You liked it?
But I loved it.
Okay.
It wasn't sparkly. It was just
sleek.
Slick and smooth. And it was. And then
Exactly.
she took that off. I mean, she took that piece off.
Right. She had 2 looks in one.
It's awesome.
But probably what stood out the most about that was because it was so different.
Exactly.
I do feel like we're hearing people say they're wanting to go with their own unique style. They're not wanting to wear dresses like they've seen and things like that. And it ties into what you said. They're wanting to, what's important to them? What do they want to wear and be most comfortable in?
Right. It's about you and whoever you're marrying. So, it's about what does your wedding day look like for the two of you? What's important to you? What makes you feel the most beautiful? What makes you feel like yourself getting married? That's one too, is if you think it might be a certain thing and it's not, but that's the one that feels more like you, we're going to encourage you to follow that gut,
Well, I envy all the brides out there that are looking for dresses because, they can come to me and show me this is what I want, but coming up to your all's place and heck, when I walk into a place and there's 300 dresses there and they're all ivory, I'm thinking, okay, whatever. But I mean, so
that's why you
envy.
lean on professionals
Yes.
to share your vision to help make that. That could be
I think
overwhelming.
Yeah,
Very overwhelming.
y'all were great. Thank
This
you
was
so much.
awesome. Thank you so much for coming in to record with us. Will you share with everyone where Adorn is located, especially if they're listening local in the Louisville, Kentucky area, where you're located, just a little bit about your shop. I know that Louisville is new, but your Nashville store's been there. Will you share with everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So Adorn Nashville has been in downtown Nashville for about 3 years. We are a small business. We're owned by, we're all women owned. We are owned by a husband and wife team. Jenny is at the head. And then as a whole, including our ownership, we are an 8-person team between 2 stores. So we're small but mighty. Louisville is brand new. We've been open for about 2 months. We opened at the beginning of January. You can find us at Adorn Nashville or Adorn Louisville on Instagram, depending on, where you're located, who you might want to see. Hailey and I will be behind the scenes of at Adorn Louisville. And then our website is adornbridal.com. That'll take you to our whole website. If you want to go to Louisville specifically, it's adornlouisville.com, but you can get there either way. So.
We'll have links in the show notes. Bethany and Hailey, thank you so much for taking time. I think you all provided a wealth of knowledge and tips in regards to wedding dresses and accessories. All the things.
Hailey's favorite.
Yes. So even though Sharon couldn't be here, Mike, it's been
great. Thank you all so much.
Very informative. And I hope we can continue this conversation down the road, talk about other trends, what's going on in the bridal gown industry and accessories. So everybody check out the links in the show notes. Make sure to follow them on social media. As always, if you like what you heard, you can go on your favorite podcast platform. Mike, you going to do the honors? And write us a glowing 5-star review. Send us a message on social media or on our website. We would love to hear your feedback about this episode. Again, thank you all so much.
Thank you all so much. It was so fun.